Yo, what's going on, YouTube? Happy New Year. I've been deciding to do this for a while, and then I just figured, you know what better time to do it than today on New Year's Day on 2025. I hope everyone had a happy New Year. Best of luck and wishes to everyone out there. And I'm finally bringing back a how to deal with aggressive players, this time with Clive, because I think we all know how much we love Clive in this game, because this is, you know, not Noctis 2.0, I think was how they described it. Yeah, I mean, Clive is a very interesting character, direction wise at this point. The more that he's been out there, and I actually got him to like a rank below Tekken King, like with fairly amount of ease, surprisingly. And there was a couple, there's just a couple of moves, man, that are just I don't know I don't know how else to really go on to describe these moves as just almost like busted. Like, we're talking about forward 1+2 prominence. I think we all know that move. The double slash, that's practically homing, safe on block, mid, infinite range, right? And then we're gonna go ahead and get into it, right? And we're gonna talk about these moves, and then we're gonna tell you guys pretty much how to deal with these moves, right? How do we deal with Clive, right? So we have one Clive that's right over here that's very, very aggressive, right? And then we're gonna go ahead and show you another Clive that was actually a lot more technical, and he understood how to really maneuver around my character, right? And we're using Brian. Woo! Sorry, I almost dropped something. We're using Brian, right? We're not using King this time, right? So you know, a much more technical character, right? So how do we go ahead and deal with this? Where's my audio at? Okay, making sure. All right, so I want to make sure I have my audio here. It wasn't showing for a second, but it looks like it is. So starting off with the round here, it looks like I immediately jab, which actually goes ahead and that actually jabs him out of his forward 4, which is like a really great whiff punisher. Let me actually move my camera so I'm a little bit more smaller here. All right, yeah, so forward 4, I think for Clive is a crazy whiff punisher, crazy range. Anything you whiff, that's gonna pretty much hit you. So, but because I started off of a jab immediately, that winded up actually going ahead and catching him out of that in the air. And then I was able to get a combo conversion off of that, right? So pretty nice, right? So I've always said in all of my other videos that the one jab is very, very important. It's a very fast move. It's your fastest move, one of the fastest moves in the game, pretty much. 10 frames, right? I don't think there's any other move that's under 9 frames like that, except for some special moves like Kings, right? But that's a whole other video. Jab is a really, really great starter, and also just backing up is a great option too at the start of the round. So at this case, I could have just backed up, got a whiff punish, but I also was able to jab, and also was able to flow him out of that, and that's able to lead me up to some really nice options here with Brian, right? So not quite, I could have done the extension there. I wasn't really quite familiar with the distance with this map. Wakes up armor, so we're gonna go ahead and show you how to deal with that armor. That armor is something else, right? Do understand that it's -14, so you can punish it if they do it at you at point blank range, but if they're setting it up at range 3, there's no way that you're gonna punish that. So you kind of have to respect this move right now. At this point, you might be wondering, this might be what might be killing you at these ranks, right? This might be what's gonna go ahead and is getting you demos. That's gonna be like, oh my gosh, there goes my double points, right? How do you deal with this? You gotta understand, this is a 50-50, right? This is just 50-50. This is what the situation Clive wants to put you in. So what you probably could have done here, actually, what I probably could have done, I'm gonna go ahead, I could have actually gone ahead and actually blocked the full string right here. I could have gotten that, right? But you know, what we did was we actually woke up, right? So let's try this again. We could do that, or we could stay on the floor, right? And then we can go ahead and take our frame. So there's a few options we can do. You could stand up, guess the mid or the low. Understand that Clive has a hell sweep, although he has to risk it every time when he has to go into his entrance from his Phoenix step, right? So if we were to go ahead and actually reset that again, if we go ahead and stand block, we can get our punish right here, right? Hold on. And then if we stay on the ground, we can go ahead and take our frames and stand up like that. So a couple options you can do that. Understand that actually holding back, if you're trying to get the punish, that's actually a little bit more risky for you. So if you know if this Clive is going to go ahead and go immediately for this 50-50, just go ahead and just stay on the ground, right? But in this case, I didn't really get to do that. Sorry, Timbo. I am busy right now. Getting 50-50 to death. So in this case, you see what happens here? I'm not staying on the ground, and I'm just eating these 50-50s. I'm just mids, lows, and really momentum, like, low based, like momentum lows or mid based moves. Really annoying, right? So it's like, how do you do that? And then you have prominence, right? Reaches from range 3 miles away, safe on block, heat engager, heat launcher extender, like starter, like it, yeah. So in this case, as you can see, I'm this low of health. I don't see how I can make this comeback here, right? I go ahead with my 1-4, right? I'm +4. I take my frames. What I'm going to do now. So, the thing about, for Brian players specifically, the one thing I've noticed about playing with Brian, right? And what I think I hate about to admit is that I really hated the way his damage was. His damage is insane. Right? But the thing is that when you eat that damage is because 9 times out of 10 you leaned into that move, right? There are certain situations where you shouldn't have pressed. So in this case here, I take my frames, I'm +4, I use his 3+4 kick, and if I actually want to remember the actual name for that move here. So if we're gonna go to, do we have the moves? Command history, I don't think we do. Anyways, Brian's 3+4 is if you guys don't know, of course by now, is a safe mid counter hit launcher. So when we get a momentum and we throw this guy out, we get the counter hit, right? So immediately we have to remember too, if you're risking double points, you do have to kind of play this a little bit more seriously and have to take really key notes really fast, right? So even for me, and this is the very first round, only 20 seconds in, I just got 50-50 to death. The fact that he tried pressing after my 1-4, that's a mental note I had to take, right? So we go ahead, take the combo. I mess up the combo again. I don't main Brian. I go ahead and I use the hatchet kick for wake up. That reaches again from range like 2 or 3, right? So whatever, right? Mental note though, mental note is the fact that he liked to press after I punish. Boom. You see? So again, mental notes to really go ahead and actually really place a lot of efficiency in your rounds, right? The more momentum you get in your rounds, it also does like a mental thing to your opponent too, like, oh, I got counter hit again, right? They start to get like really mentally exhausted faster, and then that's like to your advantage, right? So let's see how this plays out now afterwards. Big damage. He doesn't know that forward, what is that, forward 2-1, what is that, 2-1-4 minus 13 on block, nothing to punish. So that's a good heat activation right there. So we'll just go ahead on the defensive. We'll break the throw. That was dangerous. I don't recommend that, but that worked out. I actually could have gotten a re-wall splat from that, but I wouldn't recommend that because that heat smash from Clive has really long lingering heat flame. What is it? What is that called? The really lingering hit, active hit frames? Yeah, a lingering active hit frame. So it stays active for a while. So even when you think you could whiff, it may catch you. So just be very careful. I don't know why. That was crazy of me to do. I get caught by prominence. 50-50. So at this point now we're defending, and then now we see the string. That's minus 13. I take my 1-4. So now he's jabbing me to avoid my long follow-up. So there's probably something else that we can probably do. So again, another mental note. Now that he's jabbing when he's minus, right? Okay, so we just have to do something a little bit faster than my 3+4. Prominence, he could have punished that, no punish. We have to be reactful to that. So at this point, guys, that's 29 frames. That's about as much, or if not longer, than a snake edge. So these are moves that we need to be reacting to. I know Clive is very, very soon. I know Clive is just still a fresh character to a lot of people, but a lot of times snake edges are going to be homing, and they're going to be long starting up. So a lot of times when you see this weird high crushing weird wind up for like a split second where there's like a lot of movement happening but like nothing's happening, there may be a snake edge coming up. Just be very careful and be very, very mindful of like where the homing trail is at, what's going on. But snake edges we have to be reacting to at this point, to like visually reacting to, because this is going to be big damage for us. And you see, because we did the right punish, because we were able to visually react to that, we're telling this opponent like, no, you are not gonna do that move, right? Look at the comeback potential we have. And then look, now we got the round. So at this point, just recognize that this map has a ground explosion. Now he's parrying, right? So I'm like, okay. Get the counter hit, get the wall explosion first. Follow up. So now he's pressing after he's minus. Like I think he was -5 after that, right? Again, another mental note. Break the throw. Throw out the heat smash. Brian's heat smash is really awkward, I cannot lie. So, but it's as to the Brian player, use it to your advantage. We're confident with our blocks now. We're confident with him throwing out the mids. And then we go ahead and get the counter hit. See what happened there? Even the rage art, if you would have had more health, it definitely would have been a bad, like a really bad day for me. I probably would have like really evened out the round. I probably would have went to a final round potential. But no, just because we took momentum and we placed good, well counter hits, it worked out to our advantage, right? So pretty good example there. Yeah, no, I definitely remember this Clive. Doesn't duck the high. I don't launch that. Yeah, I gotta remember. It doesn't stagger, so it's hard to visually see that it's a launch punishable move. But like that's minus what? That's -18. Launch it. You gotta launch it. But I only do it while standing forward. I run into a down forward too, which is interesting, so I have to keep in mind that. That move lunges in really fast, so just be very wary of that. Parry. So at this point, Prominence seems to really set up a frame trap of like, maybe not a frame trap, but if you really try to put like throw some offense after Prominence because it's safe on block, you can get parried. So just be very careful with that. All right, so here is something interesting, right? At least for Brian players. That's -14. Yeah, you gotta like immediately punish after the like the golden arm goes away. Yeah. But recognize that, and that was a learning process for us, right? Because instead of you like waiting for him until the golden arm disappears, you have to punish when the golden arm actually like stops making impact with you per se, right? Really odd, really weird, really weird, but definitely a learning process for all of us. And this is why we do this. This is why we do this, so we can go ahead and get these perfect punishes later on. right? So go ahead, moving on. Now that we know that you can actually jet upper that move if you're a Brian player. And then we have to understand we have to punish after that makes impact with you. Really, really weird. I think I went for 1-4 at that point because it was just my most efficient punish. Yeah, okay, and this is actually a good sequence right here. And this is actually really, really nice because look at how we go ahead and we go from all of his health that Clive had, from the health that we had, right? We go for momentum. Shit. Now we're conditioning, right? My reason, like, down forward 2 is like a really, really good move due to the fact that, like, you have to really keep the opponent really has to like really guess, like, is it my turn? Like, I don't know if it's my turn because I don't know if that 2-3 is gonna come out. I don't know, or excuse me, 2-4, right? Yeah, down back 2-4. Let's see. I just want to be sure. Or is it 2-3? Yeah, 2-3. Excuse me. Sorry. I just want to make sure I'm telling all the right information here. So we're conditioning with down 4-2, right? Because we're making him want to guess, like, is it really still his turn? Is it not his turn? Because he's scared of that 2-3. So you see how he tried to parry the next move after that? But because we're conditioning him, we're like, no, there's no 3 coming out. We're going ahead, we're going to do it again. But after the 2 down 4-2s, and now we're going ahead and he's committing to the block. We throw another hatchet, a back 1 for pressure. And at this point, remember, back 1 is -4 on block for him. You're +4 when you throw out back 1 as Brian. Throw out a command throw, and then he gets up wrong or he ducks wrong, and then we get the mid and we get the follow-up, right? So at this point, we got the first round. We guessed right. We blocked the mid. I'm +7. I throw out the down forward 2-1 this time for the follow-up. Immediately going for the parry. Mental note. We guessed wrong that time. And that's what you have to remember. I mean, when it comes to Clive, when y'all eat those mix-ups, it's just that you're guessing wrong. And then if you just guessed right the one time, you could actually launch them. And then when you guess right eating the mid, it's your turn, right? So when you guess these right? So in this case, we look here. We guessed right. That's actually -12. We could have gotten something big for that, right? We could have gotten a punish, right? So going back to the replay here. He whiffed that back 2 from him. So the properties for that move is actually pretty interesting, right? If that hits, understand it's a homing high. If that hits, he gets his follow-ups guaranteed, right? There's no way of blocking the mid or the low follow-up when that move hits. Crazy. So he can build up gauge, he can regen his health, and he can get you for wall carry or wall break, right? Crazy move. You look good. If you're gonna have a good predictable Clive, you can actually go ahead and bait that move, right? And duck it. Understand that it's a high, right? So I could have gotten something big there, but I didn't want to commit to anything too crazy. I just wanted to approach and take my offense and throw something out there. In this case, we throw a hatchet, throw a back 1. Now, all of my follow-ups now at this point are getting parried, so we're gonna have to change it up a little bit here. So at this point, now that he was thinking that I was gonna go ahead and throw a jab follow-up, we're grabbing now, right? I want him to understand that that's not gonna work this whole entire time now. Throws that out. That's interesting. It's okay. We take our frame, so we don't go for an immediate punish here because the range is pretty interesting here, right? We're +13, but that range is that's almost range 3. So in this case, we go ahead, we throw out a hatchet again because that's, you know, that's Brian's power low. We get a nice follow-up. Play the neutral game out here. We get right, we approach here, and then we dash block. Dash blocking is actually a really good technique that a lot of people could learn here, right? So dash blocking just requires you to go ahead, run, and then just hold back. So run, it's almost like a feint. Think about it like a feint, right? We get our momentum, That was a misinput on my end. Could have been launched. Remember, that move is launchable. And at that point, that was a guess. I guessed wrong the first time, and then I guessed wrong the second time. So it's all good. That's a big homing move. Really, be careful with that move. That is a counter hit mid launcher. If it actually does hit as a counter hit, it is homing. But if you block it, you are plus enough to actually do that as a punish. So we see here. Yeah, but understand that move is minus on block, and you could punish that. So in this case, we defend, we throw out a jab, and we throw out a 3+4, because in this case, instead of us going for a 1-4, we go for the regular jab because we're actually +8, because I wanted to get more frames out of that, right? Because I wanted hopefully a 3+4 to land, but he's getting a little bit more careful with his follow-ups now, right? I throw out another one to see if he kind of steps into it. Doesn't work. He's very scared of my mids, right? So in this case, we're just going to start harassing him with my hatchet more, and we're going to throw out some regular grabs. That homing move is punishable, so again, make sure to punish that, get your momentum. And that's the thing about Clive. You want to kind of get into his face and grab as much momentum as you can, because you don't want him to step back and set up for his big, long range and his Phoenix step moves. You don't really want that to happen. So at this point, just wait till a move whiffs, wait till something happens. If you happen to be like a king player, if you are like king main like me, you have 4-2-1. That's a big punish for you. My jab whiff, and I got punished for that, but that's okay. Hatchet again. We're being careful. We're mixing up our momentum, right? So sometimes even after we're plus, we don't do anything, right? Because we're wary about that parry, right? Momentum again. Simple punish. He ducked that time, and then we go in for a grab mix-up, and it works out. So that's really all it is. You see how simple it is? We're not really doing anything crazy, man. We're not doing anything crazy. We're just doing simple jab string punishes and then grabbing. That's really all we did that last round. So at this point, I run into a while standing 2. That's new, right? That was new for me. So at this point, he gets the wall carry or the ground explosion. He's gonna get a what is it? Billion damage, wall carry out the max, prominence, heat extender. I was gonna try to go for a back throw, but I wasn't close enough. That was definitely the wrong punish on my end. And then I just winded up guessing wrong there too, right? So let's see, final round here. Jab string. Jab string again. Jab string again. Now we're throwing out Requiem, quarter circle forward 1+2, right? And because of that, remember that you don't really want to attack after that move right there. That move hits you back up. You're -4. Don't really try to attack after that. So because we went ahead and we went on defense mode immediately, Requiem came out and we got the whiff punish for that. And now that's offense now for us. Does it again, go on defense. And if you're a Brian player, really make use of that heat smash. That thing is, the hitbox on that is insane. Like, I just don't blame you. And then look, we make him guess. So I think even with a technical character like Brian, beating Clive is very, very possible. If at the end of the day, it's a matter of sadly guessing right when he goes into his Phoenix step. You could go for some armored move if possible. You know, just be careful about that, because some of those are they might go through your armor. It's crazy. I think Clive needs some looking into for sure. Like, prominence should not be safe on block. That's insane. Man, his damage is insane too. His walk travel is insane, and his heat. What is it? The heat. Forward 2-1-1. I think he does have an actual guard break off of his heat as well. It shouldn't be -2, I think, even on block. Like, that's insane. So hopefully that's helpful. hopefully that can go ahead and kind of help you get through the ranks, because I know there's a lot of Clive in these ranks right now. There's a lot of Clives in these ranks, so just be wary of that. But other than that, y'all take care. Y'all wait for my next video, and I'll try to go ahead and do some more characters. Peace. Happy New Year as well. I almost forgot about that.